So Daniel 9:7.
It's gonna go down behind that building. It's gonna suck in a couple minutes.
About the half hour.
All right, so I was going in on some confusion of faith this week. That's where the Spirit had me. Basically, I had a dealing with a scoffer, saying that all of the tribes of Israel are so-called black men. So we're going to edify the church right now. All right, so go ahead and bring out that Hosea 7:8.
This is Hosea 7 and 8, and it reads, Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
So Ephraim, who is the head tribe of Northern Kingdom Israel, is a cake unturned. So if you're cooking a pancake and you don't flip it, you're gonna have a dark side and a light side. So therefore, that's the parable. It's dealing with there are light-skinned Israelites and also dark-skinned Israelites who appear so-called black men, which the whole thing is our men have taken on heathen women in all these captivities that we continue to be in till our Messiah deliver us. All right, whoever got the Daniel.
This is Daniel 9 and 7. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day to men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass, that they may have trespassed against thee. O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
So it's a punishment. It's a punishment to the nation of Israel that some of us look like the heathen. We don't look like the natural root, which Israel was a natural root. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi appear more like the angels who are driving them chariots.
I got it set for you.
Bring it out, huh?
This is Jeremiah 12 and 9, and it reads, Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about thee are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, and they come to devour.
A speckled bird, just like you see up here. We're a speckled bird. You see the so-called black, so-called Native American, and so-called Hispanics preaching this word on the street in Babylon. All right? So a speckled bird, we're not like IUIC. We're not all in vanity wearing the same outfits, coming up here like we're some type of, how IUIC rolls. Yeah, we're out here a speckled bird. Every brother has a different garment,
And really, if I could say, that's Esau's fault, because first he tried to marry Ishmael's daughter to get his dark skin back, but then he couldn't do it. He actually multiplied, and so then and if you read the William Lynch letter, his intention is to whitewash everything, because he couldn't get rid of that.
It's like when amongst Canaan too, he tried to get that pigmentation back.
Right, he was trying to get it. He was married
It's a calling card, so we know who the wicked are.
Yeah, because what it is basically like the brothers to bring it out. The leprosy is literally a curse. That white skin is a curse. All right.
That's why
Moses
Moses freaked out when he pulled his hand out.
And the Northern Kingdom has leprosy as well.
Right.
Because we're not to our perfection.
Shit, Southern Kingdom too.
Yeah, the Southern Kingdom got that shit too.
It's all throughout the tribes, man.
And it's like I said earlier, our men have always taken on heathen women. You have had Israelite men popping these white women, popping these Asians, popping these, all these so-called Asians.
Look at Naomi Osaka, the world champion tennis player. She a Levite.
Last night, Canelo Alvarez. He's from the tribe of Issachar. But if you just saw him on the street, you would have thought he could be an Edomite.
He got red hair and everything.
Confusion of faith, man.
Yeah.
And it says, bring that out, the kings and the fathers again. Bring that one up. The kings, the fathers, and
I got one too.
Princes.
O Lord, this is Daniel 9 and 8. It says, O Lord, to us belong confusion of faces, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Second Ezra 13, verse 40.
Oh wait, not that long. Sorry. Go ahead and bring out yours.
This is first Kings 12 and 20. And it came to pass when all Israel had heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation and made him king over Israel.
Jeroboam was king of Israel, so he was northern kingdom king when the split happened. You know, between the nation of Israel, you had two kingdoms. You had northern and you had southern kingdom. Go ahead, keep reading. Jeroboam was northern kingdom's leader.
And made him king over all Israel. And there was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. Oh shit.
Keep going.
And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel. The house divided, man. To bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. House divided, bro. That's the word up.
Rehoboam, he was the leader of the southern kingdom, right? So it got to the point where when they left, that's when they was taking on those heathen women, and you have these confusion of faces coming out, looking like the heathen. Keep reading.
But the word of the Most High came unto Shemaiah, the son of the Most High, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, you will not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of Yahweh.
So in the scripture, you know, they were about to go to war. You know what I mean, between the northern and southern kingdom, and they hearkened to the word of Yahweh. You know, that northern and southern kingdom. Go ahead. Because he told them, no, you know, don't go and fight your brothers. You know, and it's just like today. You know, you have so-called Hispanics, so-called blacks, and they have beef with each other. You know, because that division Esau's put under them.
That bullshit, black and brown shit, man.
God.
You see that shit a whole lot in California.
He doesn't want to tell you that these are your brothers and these are your people. And that's why we outnumber the sands of the earth. Because if you took those nations, Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, and those so-called blacks, you're going to have the greatest nation on earth. Esau don't want to reveal that.
Hey, that's why Yahushua said, man, the house divided against itself shall not stand. And we're getting the account of this right now, man. When Israel divided, man, they started falling.
I got a set for you, brother.
Go ahead,
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 11, and it reads, Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be visitation, because in the creature, Israel being the creature in this sanitation, of Yahweh, there are becoming an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and snares to the feet of the unwise. And that's, you know, just the problem with Jake, man. It's like the brother said, you know, they were marrying these other women, marrying into these other philosophies, going off, you know, doing wickedness against each other, and that's been a stumble. That's why the Lord's going to destroy all these fucking idols.
God,
And you could be with another nation's woman.
Yeah.
You just can't take on her God.
No.
And that'd be like you marrying getting with a Christian woman, and then you start donating money at the church.
Right.
Because it becomes
Christmas party and
God, it would become
you know,
physical first with the woman. You know, it becomes physical first and then spiritual, and that's when you're really going off. You know, when you start like the great King Solomon, even he went off doing, you know, sacrificing idols unto these strange women he was dealing with. But it's also a spiritual strange women which deals with strange doctrines. Right?
Strange women bring that in. Let me get this up.
Bring it out.
It says in Acts 7, verse 51, Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Spirit, as your fathers did. So do ye.
Man.
That's those 2/3.
Yep.
They don't want to hear it. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them, which showed before of the coming of the just one, Yahushai, of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers. And it's going to happen to the prophets today, just as it was in the past, including our King, Yahushai.
I got one out. This is Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith Yahweh of armies, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Yeah, that's the spirit. I was going to bring that up. Bring it out. I interrupted you. Bring it out.
Come on. I'll read again. It's Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith Yahweh of armies, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast and refused to let them go.
Con, but you 2/3 niggas can't see that. You can't see that you're being oppressed with your brother right now. Because you have no idea who is your brother, and you don't even know who your enemy is. You know?
Don't even know who you are.
Con, you don't even know who you are. You know?
Bro, if I could just bring out a little thing on history real quick.
Go ahead.
They actually had titles with nigger for all of us.
Con.
Like the Jamaicans were coconut niggers, the Cubans were spick niggers, the Indians, the Native American Indians were Perry niggers.
Portraying us as ignorant
Yeah.
people. Portraying us as ignorant people, and it's the exact opposite. We're the most gifted people on the planet Earth.
And when you go
According
into
to these scriptures.
My bad,
Go
bro.
ahead.
And when you actually go into that word nigga, it just means a dark-skinned person, man.
Con.
So that lets you know that the tribes were dark-skinned people at one point in time. That's why they was calling us that, man. That's why they was calling us nigga. What did it say? And the disciples were called nigga first at Antioch or something like that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Bring out that second nigga.
Which is that history that Esau wants to run from, man. That's why they start history, often at the start point of slavery, or
Yeah.
some, you know what
That's
I'm
where
saying?
it starts at. When you go to
learn world history or American history, they're like,
you
well,
niggas were slaves.
this is
That's
how
it.
this is
That's
what
it.
niggas was doing. You know, you didn't have a history before this.
In that show on Netflix, the Elder Tahar, he did a talk about it. What is it?
Game changer.
Game Changers. In the beginning, they pretty much call the gladiators beaners.
Right.
Yeah.
Con.
Because they were eating beans. And what do they call
protein.
garlic
But
beaners.
look who the greatest attractions are for fights now. Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal
Beaters,
just fought
bro.
last night. The fucking president was there. Everybody under the sun wanted to see them two jakes because you knew
It was gonna
just
be a
off
good
the
one.
spirit they was gonna throw down.
Yeah.
And the Cuban, he actually knows that because when they were interviewing him about the fight, they were talking about what's the motive for this fight, and he says we're just two badass picks trying to fight and make a buck.
Yeah, he was like, we just want to make this money.
Yeah.
And he basically, Masvidal basically said, he was like, see, you don't get it. The spirit we have, it could be 10,000 people watching, or me and this nigga in the parking lot, and we gonna throw down.
Right.
Con.
And that's that spirit of Jake. If it was Masvidal versus Stephen Thompson,
That should have been over.
nobody want to watch that shit.
That should have been over.
You know what I mean? Dana White, if you listening, nigga, we don't want to see that garbage.
Just to make a correction on the brother real quick. So the confusion of face, it just means shame's face.
Con.
You know, so with that, with the scripture the brother brought out about the speckled bird, that's what we're going into. Our people looking like the heathen nation because of the curses of us being spread amongst them. You know, and that does bring a shame face because you an Israelite and you go back to this rich heritage, but this is a part of our curse, man, being mixed among the heathen, man. And it does bring shame upon you, man.
No, we get new bodies. We get new bodies.
That's why. Yeah, so don't even worry about that shit, man. I came out there look like the other nations, bro. That shit is temporary, man.
Yeah.
You see, you won't forget you ever had this damn body that you in now.
For real.
Get a
whole get rebuilt in spiritual sense.
All that matters is that you're an Israelite,
Right.
bro.
I know it's gonna be this
Holding
dog.
the door open.
John, and you had, like I said, the way I started the lesson is you had these scoffers who are saying, hey, the tribes are only the so-called black,
That's
right?
stupid.
And that's a
That's
stumbling
stupid.
block for these other alphabet camps or whoever believes that shit.
Bro, just
You know
looking,
what I mean?
just looking at Jake in history,
Nah.
and off how Jake loves women. I'm talking about
Exactly,
women from
yeah.
different nations. How the fuck do you think that we're all
I
gonna
think
look?
your kids are always going to keep that
That's what I'm
bloodline
saying.
perfect. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like my own brother, he has a kid that looks like a straight Edomite. You know?
And it's been going back like as far as that. Really, like the
God.
brother's been saying. Remember, Joseph had 2 sons with the Egyptian woman.
Right. That's where you get the Northern Kingdom.
Right.
God.
So
that
it
lets
didn't
you
even
know
matter who their mother was.
what was Ephraim and Manasseh, the so-called Puerto Ricans and so-called Cubans. They were dark skinned. I guarantee the woman that Joseph got with, she was very dark, and I guarantee you Joseph was dark himself, man.
Moses, he married an Ethiopian.
Come on, man.
And if I'm not mistaken,
man.
the guy that was scoffing, he was bringing up because Judah and Issachar were brothers. But that doesn't mean that Issachar wasn't going to go run off and take on those heathen women first. You know what I mean? And then because they were dwelling in that southern kingdom, closer to Africa, what they call Africa. You know what I'm saying?
That just shows you, man.
Or
Jacob's
the
on
land
the
of Canaan at that time.
Jacob's on a
Sons
low
of
level,
Canaan
man.
were all throughout there.
And the brother brought out how they were skipping. What'd you say about the history with the
my school.
Oh, yeah, they don't even
school, yeah.
They don't even speak. Well, the thing is, they don't want to speak about the Hamitic theory because then you have to talk about the Shemitic theory. And they want to push anti-Semitism, which doesn't exist because you can't be Sem.
And in the same fashion, they took the Apocrypha out the middle of the Bible.
Right.
You have it. It should be right between the Old Testament. So when you got these people reading the Old Testament, and then they don't know who the Gentiles are in the New Testament because that whole middle has been taken out.
Because if you start to, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if you start to speak on this history, then there's things that you have to speak on. You have to speak on the Maccabean revolt. You have to speak on the concept that these men didn't adhere to the women that their sons were coming out of, which causes confusion. Because then you can't go around telling people, well, I'm a quarter Mexican, I'm a quarter this, I'm a nickel of that.
So you telling me 4 niggas got in your mom?
That causes
That's
confusion. That shit causes confusion because you want to try to add everybody into the equation when it was always a simple matter. You are who your father is.
Because don't 4 quarters add up to a whole? So if you're a quarter of a son, that means 4 different men had to get up in the same woman.
Right.
Come on, that shit don't make sense.
That doesn't
man.
make sense, man.
Let this brother bring this out real quick. This is going back into this is going into those 10 lost tribes of Israel, which were the northern kingdom, which went through Euphrates. Go ahead and read it out.
2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
The process is so complicated.
Go ahead,
It's not working.
But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So this is dealing with that northern kingdom. They took that great journey. It took them a year and a half, and they went to the Americas, which are the North and South Americas, which never no mankind dwelt. Showing you that that's how we know. There are heathen. Some of the Israelites look like the heathen.
Right.
They took that when they got to the Americas. Those were the so-called Native Americans, the Brazilians in South America,
And this is
Colombians.
This is why they were putting bones in their fucking chins.
All these
Because that shit came from Ham and all that.
Hey, bro. Even with like you talking about the scattered the Israelite foreigners, where the Israelite looking like the heathens. One of the best examples, I give you 2 of the best examples you can look at. Blake Griffin and Lenny Kravitz. Which one would you think was
Or look at Blake's kid. Blake's kid, 2 generations removed.
Out of Blake Griffin and Lenny Kravitz, which one would you say was the so-called white man? You would say Blake Griffin, right? But in all actuality, Lenny Kravitz is the so-called white man, and Blake Griffin is the Jake man.
His father is a so-called Jew. Yeah.
Yo, Lenny Kravitz's dad is an Amalekite. Blake Griffin's dad is a Levite. But who does Blake Griffin look like? A so-called white man. Now look at now it goes down. Now look at Blake Griffin. Jump to the next generation. Look at his son. A straight up Edomite, man.
Which what's his name? Lenny Kravitz. He would be considered a terror in the scripture.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying?
And every kid that he has from now on will come after his seed line, making them what? Edomites, man.
And another example for the female is that chick from
His daughter she's big now.
her too. But have you ever seen that chick? She was on not Sister, but it was like
Tia
4
Terrell?
black chicks or whatever. The only one whose career blew up was the chick who was a terror.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy
the
Ellis
Edomites.
Ross.
Yeah,
From
con.
that show Blackish, bro.
Yeah.
That bitch is
Yeah,
Edomite.
that's who it's her.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
And
She
she's
was on
ugly,
that show
too.
with 3 other chicks,
The
and they
kids
were
are
all
supposed to
finer
be
than her.
Edomites in the
They were all
storyline.
finer than her, and she's the only one whose career blew up. And it was because her father's an Amalekite.
Con.
And that's why she got to make it. Like, so you see that other show, you had funnier chicks on that show, but she's the one that make it. Why? 'Cause
Funny
she's
and
tied
they were
in,
prettier
man.
than her.
You see, she's tied in. She
She's
has that.
probably
She has
the
that blood.
most
That's the only reason why
unattractive out of all of them.
That's the only reason why she's on camera.
Con.
You know what I mean?
She has that
She got
bloodline, bro.
connections.
It's
not what you know, it's
That's
who
that
you know.
speckled bird,
Yeah.
man. And that comes from generation after generation after generation of our men mixing
on
amongst
these
these heathen women, man. That's where that
Right.
shit comes from, man.
And we're still doing it. You know what I mean? To this day.
And there's niggas right now
Right.
cuddled up with some fat white
With a
bitch,
heathen.
getting her pregnant as we stand here. Breaking the
No
Sabbath.
doubt, no doubt.
Because Esau will go get the baddest Israelite chick he can get.
Right.
You see Jake go to the damn deepest, darkest trailer park he can go find a goddamn Edomite bitch from and get her.
Right.
Especially now, it's cold, bro.
And be in love.
Yeah, this is the coldest
Being
cold
love.
season.
He be hurt when he holding her hand in the
Cuff
mall.
up season.
Feed me another pork round, baby.
Hell no.
Go ahead.
This
read
is
it out.
2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Because when the northern kingdom left, they were becoming pagan quicker than the southern kingdom. Southern kingdom kept those laws, statutes, and commandments out of the tribes the longest.
Oh, man, they was
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they was out.
Northern kingdom, and to this day, we still have northern kingdom who are heavy into idolatry. I mean, now it's everybody. Now it's both kingdoms. You understand? Both kingdoms are considered Gentiles, right?
You never feel, but every time a camp going on, the sirens go down. Every time.
Well, you know what the Cyrene is actually a demon in Esau's
siren,
bullshit.
She would take in the
It's a mermaid.
sailors, and then they would never be heard of again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a mermaid
From the Greek,
crying
it's
on the
actually
rock.
the fucking Starbucks. The
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
That bitch is a siren,
That's
too.
a siren. That's showing you we're in the Greek and Roman, captivity.
And every thought
know?
drinks Starbucks, bro. Every hood rat drinks Starbucks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Basically,
especially
white
the
bitches.
Edomites, especially the Edomite women. Them bitches live at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying?
And who the fuck wants to have sex with a fish?
Dutch Bros.
Edomite,
You know what I'm saying? If you looking for an Edomite, go to Dutch Bros and Starbucks. You're gonna find that bitch there, I promise.
They know it too.
Man, they know.
She gonna be in there with some Uggs, some tights on.
Yep. Some Uggs and some
I've seen
pants.
guys in Uggs this year.
Oh man, I
yup,
can see
me
the
too.
guys see that shit too. Man, you couldn't pay me to put Uggs on, bro.
I told her,
Bring out your step, Doc. Go
I
ahead,
got you.
bring it out. Let's stay on the
This is
scripture.
this is wisdom. Once again, I'm in wisdom. Just a verse down. Same chapter 14, verse 12 this time. For devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life.
But the Christians, they're gonna tell you that fornication just means having sex before you get married in this kingdom.
Right.
But the brother just brought out, it's actually the devising of idols is spiritual fornication.
Whatever
You know
that
what I mean?
idol may be.
Whatever, it could be anything. You know, it could be your false doctrine.
Could be Conor McGregor.
Right. Football,
Fine.
basketball.
That nigga got a whole fucking YouTube channel called Ball
It
Is
could
Life.
be a woman.
Right.
You know, it could be a bitch.
Yeah, they got
you know?
that shit's on YouTube. You can
Fucking
follow them niggas.
Ball
on
Is
YouTube.
Life. What does it tell you? They worship basketball. bro.
Kanye West
seen
pushing
the
that
fucking-
praying to Donald Trump.
No, they actually got a
Type
fucking
doctors.
Kanye West gold Kanye West statue in LA where him dressed up like the Messiah, bro.
That's
Fine, fine.
He just came out, he's gay too.
Who, Kanye?
Bring that out. The rest of that Kings. I don't think you went.
I didn't hear that.
Talks about
He's
the
all the way
idols.
fucked up, bro. I
got
don't
his
even
own
know if
church,
that's the
too.
real
He was
Kanye
talking
anymore.
about,
That
He
nigga
was
might
like,
be just
I've worked for the devil so
fucking
long.
some,
No, that's
yeah,
all
just
right.
some
That's all
goofy
right.
ass
He had a
clothes.
sermon at his church.
One of the brothers
that
up
goes
in
right
New York
into
brought out a video and let it play. He's being interviewed by Big Boy,
Con.
and he said he's pretty much breaking down and just blurts it out. And then the Big Boy says, "Are you still our voice?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then the brother was breaking down how he represents this generation for 2019. That Jake is gay as fuck.
Khan, I see. You see that all in this Babylonian society. Go ahead and bring that out.
This is 1 Kings 12,
Not me, nigga.
24. Thus saith Yahweh, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for the thing is from me. They hearken therefore to the word of Yahweh, and return to depart according to the word of Yahweh. Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David.
Because he was scared. Because again, this is dealing with northern kingdom getting ready, becoming divided. Once they got divided, now the brother Jeroboam, he's worried about his people going back into the southern kingdom and joining with alliance with them, the brethren.
If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto the Lord, even to Rehoboam, king of Judah.
Because the custom of the Israelites was to go back to the Jerusalem to worship, right? And so that's what he was worried about. When they go back to worship, they're gonna join up with the southern kingdom, which was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Those three tribes. Go ahead.
And they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them,
just like in Egypt, they set up the calf. Well, they did that also when the 2 kingdoms split. You know what I'm saying? So that was, who was doing it though? It was Ephraim, the northern kingdom. It made mention in one of the verses he read. But go ahead, read them.
A lot of them still doing that shit, man.
They're still doing it hard.
Box you over that image, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you can't tell a southern kingdom that, this image offends them badly,
It's getting to a point though where Jake be worshiping even IUIC Yahweh Shai images.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you have all kinds of strange doctrines, strange women on these
that's
jakes.
why this is why the Most High said, "There shall no man make a likeness of me." You know what I'm saying?
Gone.
Because the Most High is a living power. He don't need nobody to worship no damn statue of him, man.
Nah.
Worship him. Have faith in him. Worship him. You don't need to see him to worship him,
You're
man.
not supposed to put no faith in wood and stone anyway.
Because
man.
what if Moses saw the Most High and told him out, you would have Jake down there carving out sculptures of the Most High, man. You see? So that's why nobody can't look. Hey, what the Most High said, no man had looked upon me and lived. You see? Just for that reason alone, because they would have turned him into an idol, man. You
Go
see?
ahead and bring out the rest of that Esdras.
I have a little more.
You have a little more? Okay, let it be. Go ahead.
So this is 1 Kings 12 and 28. It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel and the other in Dan. And the thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before one, even unto Dan. So he basically, oh my bad.
Go ahead.
Basically, he told them it's a burden for you to go up to Jerusalem every time you want to worship. Here, I got you 2 calves, one here and one there. There you go, worship that. And that's what the fuck they did, man.
And that's why, what does it say? It says, in the last days, Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
All
right? Go ahead and bring that up.
2nd Ezra 13, verse 42.
And really quick, when you say Ephraim, you're dealing with all 10 tribes that we just read about. All right? And then you got Judah, which is dealing with those 3 tribes, his brothers that, what does Ezekiel say? That his companions, they were his companions.
Oh, Judah and his companions.
Judah and his companions, and Ephraim and his companions. Okay, go ahead.
2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 42, that they might there keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood.
And those signs would have been those chariots, guiding them, leading Israel.
Which stars?
There was in the stars, and also because Jake, I should say, Southern Kingdom, they were heavy into the star stuff, the astrology. And they were actually really, obviously well versed with that, because it got them to the Americas.
That's where you
man.
get that Mayan calendar from.
Yeah.
Issachar made that Mayan
Yeah,
calendar.
the
Issachar,
2012, you know, so-called end of the world. That's based off of the Mayan
They was
calendar.
watching the stars predicting that.
Yeah.
Con.
They have tracked it that far, Khan. And they like the flood speaks on the great waters of the ocean. So they did cross that Atlantic Sea. That's something that, why isn't that in the history book?
Con.
Why
And
why
when I looked
is
at the map, I believe they took the long ass way.
Right.
too.
We
They went
discovered
like
this.
right
Right.
all the way around so-called Africa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They went down
They didn't go
around
this
the Horn
way.
of Africa and then off to the west, and they landed in the Isles.
Like there was in
It's-
Southern America,
Right.
North America.
They had
Right.
to because
You know what I'm saying?
that's why it says
Yeah, bring it out, bring it
and
out.
held still the flood, because the flood is the Cape of
The Horn of Africa is
Horn
very
of
hard
Africa.
to get around, man.
There's hurricanes.
Right.
That's where the hurricanes develop and move up,
Con.
and then they hit U.S.
If you ever watch these movies, what's that fucking movie?
And who was it that led them? It was the Most High Yahweh to
Yup.
give them the knowledge to take that long route to make it.
And that
You know what I'm
shows
saying?
you how that hurricane that hit Bahamas, that was Yahweh.
Well, that when you look at Columbus's journal
That's a
or his
show.
bio,
Con.
he tells you he followed a chariot to the Americas, man.
Right.
Con. Yeah, I was gonna bring that out. And then
A
also
flaming candle.
in the movie 1492, when they're the scene where he's trying to negotiate the trip, he brings up Esdras. They say, "How you know you can get there?" And he says, "Esdras, dealing with the scriptures."
And what did he
Right.
bring with him? Five
Five
Hebrew
Hebrew interpreters.
translators.
So he was reading 2nd Esdras, chapter 13.
So they knew who the Israelites were in the Americas when they got here.
And you know what else he brought in his cargo? The Spaniard Caesar Borgia.
Con. And
Right.
this is the land where they crucified.
Same shit.
Our
Hebrew
Savior,
translators,
you know?
Serapis Christo.
Go ahead and finish down.
It says, till they were passed over, for through the country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arzareth.
Con.
That
Which
which
is America. What's the other? What'd you say, brother?
The land that no one dwelt in.
Con.
It's got some
Our
other meanings too.
Con.
Land of the North, I think, is also one
Right.
that he's speaking on. And
You want to bring out
America is referred to as the North a couple times.
Can I grab
and
this
that's
real
because
quick?
the omelet.
Or is that
Yeah.
The omelet.
Oh, you got set?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
This is just pertaining to the speckled bird. This is Ezra 9 in verse 2, just to show you that we had these we were mixing with these other nations since the beginning of time. It says, for they have taken their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yeah, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass.
Con. You want to bring that one up?
We start the same thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me get one more verse. All right, let me get two verses. Then dwelt they there until the later time,
Latter time.
And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they, and the stream is the living waters, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. Let me read that piece again. Therefore saith thou the multitude with peace, because we have to return to our homes.
Con. You know? Go ahead and bring that out. You got a set up?
Oh, I was just I was trying to look up the meaning.
Okay, no, you good. Bring out set that while he
This
doing
is
I got it.
Hosea 4:17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
Con, and I just wanted to bring that out. I should have brought it out a little bit ago, but just reinforcing that northern kingdom who left and eventually made it to Arzareth, which is North and South America. You know, what they do as soon as they got here, they started doing all kind of wickedness. You know, worshiping sons, worshiping all kinds of bullshit.
Watch your pocket.
But they also brought their heathen ways to like where the so-called Mexico. You know,
Right.
they built pyramids in Mexico. That's why you have pyramids in Mexico and you have pyramids in the Mid-East, in Egypt.
don't have them anywhere
Or I'm sorry, in
else.
Egypt. It's because our people was bringing that heathen pagan shit to Arsareth.
It's been proven too that
We discontinued from the heritage.
right. Well, it's been proven too that those particular the similarities between those pyramids
Same way,
are the,
same time.
are the
But you
exactly
got
same.
these simple niggas who are talking about there's only, so-called black men in the tribes of Israel. But they knew those so-called Native Americans were Israelites.
They're the same.
Go ahead and bring that out.
Salakia, this is the meaning of the word Azareth in the scripture, which it's biblically prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 29th chapter, that they'd be cast into another land, and that word means another land. It's in Ezra, the 13th chapter, of course, and let me just read what they have here for the definition. These are the 10 tribes which are carried away, prisoners out of their land, into captivity in the time of Josiah the king, who Salzamar the king of Assyria led captive and carried them away over the river. So this was the time that they took to the Euphrates. Some of them fled the river and others were taken into, obviously, Assyria. But they were taken to another land, and Azareth means another land. It took them, obviously the journey took them a year and a
And
half.
it said never no mankind dwelt because nobody had been there. That was the new world.
Right.
Our people discovered the new world. But Esau would take credit for everything. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
understand how you can fucking discover something where somebody at. That
Right.
shit-
Con. That's
I
just
can't just walk in
ignorance.
somebody's house and like,
That's straight
I
ignorance.
discovered
Yeah,
this
I
house.
discovered this shit.
Nigga, that's breaking and entering. Right?
What verse is that?
Part of it reads it's a reference. Yeah, I'm just reading it. I'm just reading the definition. It's out of the. It popped up as America's biblical prophecy, speaking of Azareth, and it has a bunch of other scriptures on it.
Con.
But
And you
for
gotta
time's
remember
sake,
too,
I'm running through it.
the King James, your average King James, even though it don't have the Apocrypha in it, it has Ezra.
Right.
And it has other books of Ezra.
Con. Yeah, it's
Matching the two
Esdras and
prophets.
Ezra, the
Right.
same prophet.
Same
One's
prophet.
the Greek way of saying it. One's the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
So-
Nahum.
Yeah. Nahum.
Or even Hosea.
Just
They
like,
have Hosea and Hosea.
Just like
they're
Baruch.
the same prophet.
Con. Yep. Yeah,
It's the
Baruch
same
was
prophet.
Jeremiah's scribe.
Con. You want to finish off this
Oh,
lesson
and,
on that last
there's
verse?
Daniel in there. We're talking about Habakkuk.
Con.
Wait, Most High beating them up to set the food of Daniel in the lion's den?
Right.
Yup.
And this is just another revelation through the scriptures on dealing with those so-called Native Americans who were in North America. Go ahead.
I got 17
Genesis 49.
This is Genesis 49:19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Con, read that one more time because I'm sorry.
My bad. Genesis 49:19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Con, so who was that troop that overcame Gad, who were the so-called Native Americans? You know? And then
Real one right there.
brother
Right
got
back.
the spirit right there. You know, you got a so-called Native American walking right by you as we bring out this truth. You know? But he said, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. It's because Gadites that hearken to this truth, 12,000 of them are going to be prophets. And there's going to be some Gadites taken up in those chariots. But you're not going to have no Native Americans taken up in the chariots. Go ahead and bring out that set, bro.
And this is land backing off of everything the brother was talking about. This is Jeremiah 17:4. And it says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever."
Con. So the brothers, just like you brought out, you know, it's a curse, you know.
You're an Israelite.
Read that again. I'm sorry.
It says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and will cause thee
Shall
to serve."
discontinue from thy heritage, just like we had brought out. The Native Americans were going off, man. They weren't keeping the commandments. They weren't keeping the statutes. They weren't keeping the laws of Yahweh. But you know, if you look at some of those Native American pictures and photos, you see them with the fringes and stuff. Because why? Because they were Israel. They're Israelites.
But Esau tell you that, you know what? Edomite told me.
Right as you started speaking on Gad, man.
We had Gad walk right up. That's the spirit.
It denounced everything.
Oh, he denounced it? See?
I ain't Gad.
He's
I
obviously
ain't
not
Gad.
in
I'm
the
Nate.
The Lord always brings forward these examples.
That's why he serves his enemies
Hey,
in the land of his
that's what he
You know,
said,
it's
man. He
funny.
said, I don't want to be an
Universe.
Israelite. I want to be a
Yeah.
Native American, and walked off.
God,
You
see?
right after you said ain't no Native
That's all we've
Americans
been
going
talking
to the
about when he came. Yeah.
Is that what you said too?
Yeah. I didn't even
Most
hear
High-
it. Like
Most
the
High
Lord
can
blocked
take
him
the
out.
Canaanites,
I
but he
saw
ain't
him,
taking no
but I
natives.
was listening to the
Can
set.
we hear that again, Most
Let's
High,
bring
man?
this out one more time. You got the camera on the brother?
And
over
this
here?
is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in a land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled the fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever."
Con, and that's the spirit. You got the sirens and everything because the spirit's strong right now. You had that Gadite denouncing Israel and his true heritage, just because what the brother just said. He said, "I will cut thee off from your true heritage."
Allow me to give
Right?
you brother
So the
Sam.
Lord always brings forth examples, man.
I'm going to give you guys.
So that's what I got. Whoever's the next brother.
Yeah, man. You see the pride of
Yeah.
fucking Jake, man.
Yeah,
why
still-
the fuck you cleaving onto Native American? This ain't even your land no more, man.
Right.
Look at this shit.
He'd rather be what his
you're a
oppressor named him. You know what I mean? Than what Yahweh, the Most High, gave the name he gave
Exactly,
him.
bro. How
You
the
know what
fuck?
I'm saying?
How you a native? This don't look nothing like it looked before you came over here, man. When you was over here and you had this land, it don't look nothing like it looked.
He loves
then,
his,
man.
he
Come
loves
on.
his oppressor.
Lock in,
You know what I mean? His oppressor's gotten taken a bus and
He
shit.
loves serving his enemies
get
in a
this
land
set.
where he knows not, man.
Let me get
Con,
it set, boy.
bring it out, huh?
This is Daniel 12, verse 1. "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the sons of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." And that
God.
man ain't written. That's why he
Yeah,
said.
that's
so
why
it's
he
been on
denounced the
Native
truth.
American.
You know what I'm saying?
He's not of the one nation. He's of.
He fits the prophecy of the
Gad-
heritage being cut off, and that's where he wants to stay.
Discontinued.
Yep.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
actually have a name for him. The first nation is what
what's
they call
discontinued?
themselves.
Well, a good example because
They don't make it no more. You know, discontinued means that they don't make that product no more.
Right.
he had some kind of grape juicing philosophies as well. You know, he was talking about, you know, the Bible says this and that, but yeah, he's cleaving onto a Native American doctrine. So this guy's taking, you know, you have those grape
That's all
juicers
we've
go
been
to the
talking about is
reservations.
Ephraim being under those idols strongly. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord brings the example right away.
He had mentioned how Yahweh had made Adam. He said that that's how he was made. You know, that he's a native to this land and he's
Yep.
not part of Israel.
He's taking the scriptures literal. And not
Everybody was
understanding
created from the
spiritual
dirt.
part behind it. But you know why? Because Gad, the elder, Manatazak, that does the great animated films.
Oh, but not the San
Yeah,
Francisco.
right.
Gone.
He put up that documentary where they were doing the Gad out there when they were conquering Gad in the Americas. They would go in the house and take the kids out and put them in Edomite houses. And then they even had to push law against Esau and make it like kidnapping because they were taking those kids like it or not.
Yep. I just found out in New Mexico, you had these, these indigenous people, these Jakes over there, and they would chop off their arms and their legs, so they couldn't run away, and they'd keep them in the house, as servants or whatever. Which you couldn't do much without arms and legs, but that's where actually the Mexican food that you eat today, the green chili and all that all comes from that part of New Mexico. It's those same people. They cook the same food and stuff, a little bit different, but.
That's like the avocado. There's an actual the avocado is bloody. Right now,
I seen that.
yeah, there's a show on Netflix, and it's talking about the wars of avocados.
Yeah, the cartels are taking over the avocado farmers and basically extorting them like they would extort like the drug labs in Colombia that make the cocaine. Man.
Yeah, they kidnap
They're
the
extorting the
farmers.
farmers and killing these guys, man. You're just growing the fruit.
Right? And then in California, right? Avocados grow in California, and that fire it's burning it all up, and they're spraying all that chemical, that retardant, to try to suppress that fire. And they're saying it's all over the food in California right now. So all that food's contaminated.
That's why we're the watchmen, man, because we're able to discern these things. All you people out here walking around, you guys can't see the shit. You don't see the prophet. We read the scripture right out the book, and then the example is right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? But you guys don't take the time, and you heathen, you just miss out. You don't know this truth. You're gonna get fucked up in World War III, and the brothers are bringing out a lot about the microchip and how soon it's coming out, and you fuckers don't even know what's going on, man.
Right.
So, that's what I got. So,
Let me get Joel.